these are the core 3 things that I've come across. And what the first step to achieving anything is this burning desire to win and not having any backup plans. So how many of you on here have set a goal and you've already set backup plans? So the first thing is a burning desire to win with no backup plans, no backup goals. If you really want to achieve your goals, maybe, oh, good morning, good afternoon. That's right. You guys are a lot further away in Australia. So I've been reading a few books and I'm going to share with you guys. I thought this one was really time appropriate to share, really about achieving goals and 3 core reasons why many people fail when it comes down to reaching and achieving their goals. And there's really no difference except for these things as why maybe you haven't, or maybe you keep seeing everybody reach their goals. They're achieving massive things and you're still in the same space, or you feel like just time isn't existing. And one thing I was having conversation on actually today in the gym is about becoming desensitized towards your goals. Have any of you ever felt that way, like numb towards your goals, numb towards your dreams, kind of like feeling like you're working at it, but you're not seeing any progress, you're not seeing any results, you know? And here's something. So Alex Hormozi, I'm halfway through his book, and he says, yes is a win and a no is a learning lesson, so both are wins. And how many times do we take a no as a sign of defeat? It's only defeat if you quit. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And so in this other book I've been reading, I want to start it off with this. Helen Keller became deaf, dumb, and blind shortly after birth. Despite her greatest misfortunes, she has written her, hold on. What did I write over here? So she became deaf, dumb, and blind shortly after birth, despite her greatest misfortunes. And I was writing something in here. Her entire life proves evidence that no one will ever be defeated until defeat has been accepted as a reality. So you can't lose. What book? Oh man, it's been several books. I read like 3 or 4 books in a day, but this one book, as far as the Helen Keller one, it's called The Prosperity Bible, and they've taken some of the greats. It's literally like this big, but they've taken some of the greats of all time and they've put it in here. And this one part is the part that I'm reading is Napoleon Hill, and they were just talking about really. There's an article I wrote years ago that comes down to a lot of stuff that I'm just kind of combining and putting together and interpreting. But Alex Hormozi is $100 million leads. This one was the Prosperity Bible and a few other stuff. So you can send me a message. You're in the inner now. Okay, so 3 main reasons why most people will never hit their goals, or maybe your mentors or your friends do, and you just don't see like how you're moving forward. Reason number 1 is most people don't set a strong enough why when it comes to setting a goal for their life or a section in their life box. Yes. He's amazing. I would change that even today, getting more clear about it. As many people I don't think really know what they want. And most of the time, there's a difference. There's 2 forms of goals. There's extrinsic goals and there's intrinsic goals. The extrinsic goals are like these things in our life box. In our overly full life box, we've got, I want this type of relationship. I want this type of business. I want to make this amount of money. I want this type of house. I want this type of car. I want this type of boat. I want all these different things. These are extrinsic goals. They're the result of. The point of this is to understand and get clear on, what do you believe that those things, those people, places, and things are going to allow you to feel once you achieve it. And so we learn to set goals backwards, and these are called intrinsic goals. So extrinsic goals are that as a result of intrinsic goals, and this is through, we'll just use like the body as an example, right? I want to get this type of body. And instead of focusing on your DMOs, which are your daily methods of operation, like what are you doing as far as like your habits, your behaviors, your the way that you're talking to yourself, the way that you're treating yourself, the way that you're either prophesizing over your body, you're giving gratitude for your body, you're speaking life over yourself, you're telling yourself you're proud, you're celebrating yourself, or are you focusing on every day stepping on a scale, every day looking in the mirror and bashing yourself, every single day putting yourself on something, depriving yourself, and then you end up having an unhealthy relationship with food, with exercise, and with your body. You become like a prisoner to your body. I've been in that season for years. I've done 2 bikini competitions. I've been in that season for years. And the reason why I consistently was an up and down yo-yo was because I was so focused on the external versus the internal. And that was a reason why I never had a strong amount of success with that one category in my life with my body. And I noticed a huge correlation between the body and finances. There is. These are things that impact us and affect us every single day. It determines of whether we're feeling like we're fenced in, we're restricted, that we are limited, that we don't have opportunities, depending on like how we're moving our body or what we think we can and can't do. Same thing with money. So I find this to be very, very intertwined. I found that correlation like a while back. And that's like really the first thing is most people don't set a strong enough why when it comes to setting a goal for their life. And when you don't set a strong enough reason, there's no urgency to start. And another part of one of the books that I was reading is, no, I don't want to read you that part yet. I guess so. I'll say it here. So when we're going back to the beginning of this section, when I was talking about, I noticed a lot of people becoming desensitized towards their goals and becoming almost numb to their goals and their vision. That also comes back to what can happen with that is without the right tools to handle setback, disappointment, and generally will affect or drive men to drink and women to ruin because most people never learn the art of transmuting their strongest emotions into dreams of constructive nature. And when you guys hear me talk about self-mastery is about learning how to get on your own winning team mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You are your greatest asset versus a liability. Liability is I'm in pain, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and I'm going to self-destruct. And that's what that means there. So number one is getting a really, really strong intrinsic goal and getting really clear on that. And oftentimes, how many of you have said this? I know what to do, I just don't do it. I know what to do, I just don't do it. I used to say that all the time. And the one way to get on the other side of that statement, because that's more of resistance. And there's 2 reasons why people don't ever really move forward in their business, in their life, in their relationships, is resistance and attachment. So if you say, I know what to do, I just don't do it, that stems from resistance. Resistance typically has a lot to do with not trusting, and it's based on ignorance, meaning I just don't understand why this thing that I know I should be doing needs to be a priority right now in my life when all these other things are quote unquote urgent. I don't have time to deal with this. I'll do it later. I can't handle anymore. Like all these little things that we say, like I call them an excuse list. I have like my clients write an excuse list and then we create rebuttals and handle objections with our own objections that we set. Because it's true, we have to handle our own objections, let alone the objections we have with others. And then number 2, so reason number 1 is not setting a clear enough why, which comes down to, I really believe it comes down to like getting clear on what you want intrinsically. And number 2 is limiting belief system. This gets a little tricky because this can kind of come back into the beginning where we're talking about self-destruction and also self-sabotage because beliefs drive our behavior. So if you don't have strong enough tools to help you process negative thoughts and emotions and pain, then most likely you're going to use things to self-soothe to give you instant gratification, and you're focusing on the short game versus the long game. So when you set goals, do you set your real goals or do you set backup goals? And when we were talking about earlier, which I'm going to tell you this part too, whoopsies. We're going to talk about persistence. Persistence does not recognize failure. So when you're really, really clear on what you want, desire is always the number one factor that's going to get you to where you want to be. And if you're persistent, you will always win and you will always execute. So when you set goals, do you set your real goals or do you set backup goals as just in case? Now, the key is you can never, ever set backup goals if you truly want to win and you want to become extraordinary in life. So when you set a goal, make sure it's your real goal. And then think about it like this. Would you give 100% and stay committed 100% to a program if you really didn't believe that you'd be successful in achieving the results you really wanted? Like, would you be 100% committed? And commitment just means staying true to what you said you were going to do long after the emotional state you set in has left you. I wouldn't. But that's what we do with our backup goals. We have a burning desire to have something. We've had temporary defeat and a few setbacks and we're discouraged. And so what do? We create a plan B. Now, why would you go all in on a plan B when that's not even really what you want? Oh, no problem. I'm going to save it. Yes, come back later. All these are going to be recorded. I'm going to chop them up too. So, and thank you for stopping in, Lisa. So I totally get it. And I know from experience how bad it really is when you know that you're capable of more, that you know that there's more within you. But in that moment, you just feel discouraged. And that's why it's so important to understand having healthy tools to help you process things and how to treat your days as far as like sprints. Everything is a sprint and then you get back in the game. And that's why having strategies and systems of self-care is so critical, because it really teaches you how to feel recharged and refueled and getting back in the game when you feel like you've gotten beat down. And reason number 3 is the inability to stay consistent or to maintain. It's reconnecting. Okay. So number 3 is the inability to stay consistent or to maintain your goals when life events throw you off your A game and not having the right tools to handle difficult situations. So maybe you feel like you finally got things under control. I think this is really time appropriate because I love making sure that you guys are prepped. And what I mean by prepped is that we're about to get into holiday season. And holiday season is one of the biggest times I see throw people off their A game besides the summertime if you have kids. So it's important to know that even throughout the year, there's different seasons, just like the year as winter, spring, winter, spring, summer, fall. We have different seasons within our goals, and within each season, there's a different challenge, there's a different obstacle, there's a different way of how we have to tackle or how we choose to tackle setbacks, new game plan, different things coming in. And what really makes somebody super advanced is the ability to still stay on course regardless of what life throws at you. So the difference between success and failure is somebody's ability to turn any problem into a solution, to transition your obstacle into an opportunity, and to take your pain and to transmute it into power. And that's what Napoleon Hill was talking about a little bit earlier when he was saying, let me find this again. Without the right tools to handle setbacks, disappointment generally has the effect of driving men to drink and women to ruin, because most people never learn the art of transmuting their strongest emotions into dreams of constructive nature. And so therefore they end up self-destructing. And there was a movie I watched. I don't know if you guys have seen Tina Turner, but the movie that just showed like you can have all of the talent in the world. You can be one of the most talented, hardworking people in the world. But if your ecosystem is toxic versus enriched, it will take you down. And you can, and those are all things that like who you're choosing. You're choosing your partnerships. You're choosing your, who you're spending your most time with. You're choosing people that are going to be part of the business. Like all these things are relationships, like your friends. And when you have goals, you have to make sure you treat them like targets. And everybody needs to be on the same winning team. There needs to be, regardless of people's personality traits, regardless of what's going on in people's lives, when you have a goal and a vision, and when it's time to execute, to hit that goal, to hit that target, you need to see who's on board, and you guys are all working towards that common mission. In the meantime, until that mission is hit, either other people are on reserve until you get it, and then you can go back and celebrate and take them on the other side of the fence. If they can't contribute, maybe some people are just not capable of it. One time I was talking to a client who runs a very successful 7-figure business in the construction industry. And something he taught me was like really, really powerful. And I'm always learning from my clients. And he was saying what he does is he gives people a number. And when you give people a number, you're not going to be disappointed because you already knew if you have a task that requires somebody to show up as a 10, and you chose to give somebody who was capable of only giving it a 5, then that's on you. And I was like, wow, I never thought of that before. And he's like, but if you have maybe a task that you know is a 10 and you have somebody that's an 8, then you're more likely to like not be as disappointed because you knew that the person that you had on the task was for the most part capable, and that position also challenged them. Because how do we grow? We grow when we're under some form of obstacle. There has to be friction. Just like a diamond. Diamonds are formed under high intense pressure. So growth requires us to resolve problems and transmute them into solutions. It requires us to take our obstacles and to transmute them into opportunities for our greatest growth and expansion. And it also taking that pain and having the right tools in line so that we can transition it into becoming more powerful human beings. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's like the whole point of this. And what I want to encourage you guys, so those are like the three main reasons why I realize people never will ever really achieve their goals, because it's something, especially the bigger the goal, you got to look at it as a long game, and you have to eliminate any even small possibility in your brain where you possibly think that you'll have to set a backup goal. Because if you're on a mission and God has placed a vision and a purpose with a clear intention inside of your mind and in your heart, then that's the goal. That's the target. There's no backup. There might be multiple paths, just like this tree, to get you to your end target, to your end destination, but there's no plan B. It's just persistence. And then equipping yourself with the right tools to make sure that you're able to get back up during trials, tribulations, discouragement, disappointment. And I love, reading this book. I love just like the mindset of Alex Hormozi. And he says, like yeses are wins and nos are learning lessons. So either way, it's a win-win because it's feedback. And so therefore, you're constantly getting feedback and you're mastering your craft. And that's a big part of self-mastery, is like going with it, moving forward, expanding on it. Well, I hope you loved today's live stream. And speaking of accountability and perseverance and moving forward and winning, I'm doing a free 5-day accountability challenge. It's going to be September 25th through the 29th. Click below me and I'll send you the information if you want in. It is a free group. It's going to be housed in Facebook, but I do have a free accountability calendar if you just kind of want to do it solo, or the calendar is still going to be part of the course. So you can get that at tanyacoliver.com/calendar, but click message below in the comment box, just say me, and I will send you the information. So I'll make it just really easy for you. All right, you guys, I hope you have a blessed up day. I'll talk to you later. Hope you enjoy this live stream, and drop a comment also besides me, one thing that you got as far as like valuable information. All right, you guys, see you later. Bye.